This is our Cyclone update. We just rebuilt the shoulder. That's what we did. You remember the other ones are all buckled in, so we just rebuilt those. We'll get some protection on these joints right here, but it's all rebuilt right now. Now what we're doing, just making sure the roof deck is clean. There's a couple little repairs we had to make up in that corner, and then that's about it, because then we're going to get roofing on it. So the repairs that we had over there, it's just a little bit of rot. We're just fixing that. There was also that little fake roof vent that was up there that we took out. We showed you that. Then let's see here. That's what we're doing, trying to fix this. A little bit of rot right in here. That's what we're fixing right in here. And then that fake vent is over there somewhere. I think that's it right there. It's just a fake vent. I call it a fake one because it is a vent, but it doesn't do anything because there's no draw. It has to have a lower area to draw from, like a soffit, but it doesn't have that on here, so it's useless. It's absolutely useless. So, doesn't do a darn thing. It's kind of like when you put your finger over the straw while it's in a drink and then pull it up. It doesn't drain out. It needs that circulation, you know. Well, that's so far that's the update on this Cyclone. We'll be back once we get the roof down, and we'll try and give you segments. But once we get the roof down, then what we do is we go and we put all our curbs in that I've got built. Once we get the curbs built, we can obviously put the boots in right here as well. We fasten all those down. Well, the roof goes on, we glue it down. We'll be doing all that. And trying to give you an update just in case. Sometimes I get so busy I forget to get up here and video it while they're already working on it. So, but we're going to try and see if we can keep up with this one. So what we're doing is restapling everything down. We're going over the whole entire roof deck. And the reason why we did that, let's see if I can show you. I made some marks here. See if I can find them. What they did, the way they put the screws in, they're like 20 inches apart, 16 inches apart. There was a little screw that I found. We measured them, but they don't put enough screws in there. So what we're doing is we're loading it up. We got a special stapler designed to shoot sheathing is what it's for. So we're going over the whole thing, make sure this son of a gun stays down. Every single one. On our Cyclone. Now we're getting some adhesive on here on the roofing. We've already got it stretched out. So we're coating it now with the adhesive. I just can't see how the manufacturer can stretch 1 gallon of adhesive. I just can't see it. But anyhow, you can see we've got all our protective strips on here as well. You can see them all down the roof line. Right here to protect the shoulder. Got them there all the way down. But now we're going to wait for this to what's called flash off. When it's clear, then we can roll it back over, and then we'll get the other side. Okay, back at our Cyclone. We've got the roof rolled out. I'll focus this up for you. So we already got this one side over here, and now that's where we already glued and rolled this other side. Now we're doing is just balance. We got a balance roller that we made, and then now we'll go over it with the big roller. We'll go over the big monster right there, and then we'll get it down real tight. But it's all glued. So now what we do is go in. We're going to take where the vents are. We got a hole there for, I believe that's plumbing or an antenna. And we're going to take all those and we put our curves, fasten them down, and we'll start welding them down. So that's what we're working on right now. Now we're going to roll the roof with that big roller. So that's what he's doing now. So then I always show like Cyclone, or you maybe hear me say, hey, back of the Cyclone, on every single clip, because when they go to cut the videos, there may be clips from other coaches on here, so the girls know which ones go to which coach. That's why. They could use some oil, I think. Boy, that loud. But that's how we set it down there, is with that big roller. So we already got one vent cut out right there. That's what we're going to keep doing, cutting them all out, and then we'll get everything else mounted on here. Start welding. Put it together. This is our Cyclone. This thing is huge. You can see the damage we got here from a tree. Blump, 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 blump. You can see the branch hit here, and then there's a truss, then it bubbled, and then there's a truss. So it kind of, man, can you imagine? You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16, 17, 18, 19, about 20 little humps. Could you imagine coming down and hearing that tree branch do that 20 times? Sound like Homer Simpson going, don't, 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 don't. Well, that's what we got. That's why it's here. We'll fix it. We gotta do something with that little dish too. Gonna make a jazzy component for that one. And then this is a problem. So if you have one of these situations going on in your crank up, the water will get down on that wire. It'll trickle right down this wire. It'll get in there. So you want to pull that off and make sure that that is sealed. And then this is one of their fancy vents. They call this a vent. Tear off here. We're gonna throw it away anyways. But that is a vent, believe it or not. Now, a vent isn't going to work unless it has some draw somewhere. On your house, you'll have the ridge is up here, then you have the gutter down here. You get in the camera. But if you keep moving the camera like this, then you can't tell which is the even. So here's the ridge, then you got the soffit, and it'll draw going up. But there's no place for it to draw on a coach. Where's it going to draw? Nowhere. So you don't have that pull. So they're useless. It's Heartland's way of trying to let people, look at here, all they do is just cut it out. Drop that in there and plop it in. So there's not any draft, there's no way air could get out. People think because heat rises that it'll go. It will, if it has a draw from somewhere else. You can tell this is a 2017, already been dolled up yet again. They keep putting more on, more on, more on. Got one right there. That's what they want you to do at the RV industry until you end up with a moat like this. You know, then your roof will fail. But you don't want to do that. The only one's putting more on is a moron. There's something wrong with that system. So we're going to heat weld everything together. And you got the same over here with these boots. We'll get those fixed. Look how little room you have underneath this air conditioner. Like there's almost zero room underneath there. How are you going to get that thing to drain right? It's already been, looks like a couple issues on the top already. So, good tear right there. So we're going to refabricate this shoulder. It's showing you what the roof deck looked like on this side. Some more patching in here. Yeah. Probably be a good idea to get a little bit of caulking in there. Here goes the phone. We have to cut this short. Just giving kind of an overview on this anyways. So we'll be back as soon as I answer the phone. Alright, there's our Cyclone. We're done. Alright, you know, this blue tape that's on here, someone's already looking and saying, why is that on there? This is just an LED light that goes back up underneath there. It fell down. So when we open this slide out, we just got to tape it back up there and get some double-sided tape on it. This is the roof. It's all done. We got all our curbs in there. Everything's all heat welded. It's all heat welded. There's no caulking on there. It's not heat welded right here. This is all heat welded. Same with that. You have a 3-inch flange around there. On those, they're all heat welded. And I'll show you that when we get down the other end. We got the same for these ladder bars right here. Those boots are filled. I'll show you that in a second. Let's get down this side. There's a passenger side. That's a radio antenna, so I think you can get another one. This is broke, but the customer said you can just get one to screw on there, so we just mounted it back. And get some bell caps on here. This is the plumbing. Again, all heat welded here. We just painted them black so they look good because everything else is black. Normally they come white. Then this is all the curbs, 3-inch weld all the way from here out, 3 inches all the way around. Okay, then we got this flange on here. So when the water picks up, you get caught in a heavy storm, it's going to come up here, it's going to hit, and it's going to roll out. Done. Again, no caulking in here at all. You don't need it. We've got protective strips on this shoulder. On the other side, he had hit a tree, and I think we showed you that. So we rebuilt that whole shoulder on the opposite side, and you can probably faintly see those two lines going up. That's a protective strip that we put underneath here. The protective strip is the same as the material. The material comes 10 foot wide in the roll. So instead of throwing the rest of that away, because the coach is probably 8.5, instead of throwing that away, we make all these protective strips up to where the decking and everything meet, so it doesn't compromise the main roofing if there are any screws or any fasteners in there. It's just a more sensitive area than the main deck of or the body of the sheathing, if you will. So we also have our braces up here on our air conditioner, and then we put a piece of counter flash in the front. So one of my concerns with the air conditioner is up underneath there, up underneath here is a foam gasket. That's all there is, just a foam gasket. So even though we have the flanges, we've got these flanges right here, this counter flash, we've got that on there. But now you can have water coming down. The water will come back down around this way. I don't want it to trickle in. So that's why we put those on there, because it'll hit there and it'll run back out. It'll get forced to be going down. So we've got 2 layers of caulking all the way down. There's 2 layers. And this is an adhesive caulk. It's not a regular standard like dyed core caulking. This is a construction adhesive caulk. It's like liquid nails on steroids. This is a really great caulking. It's designed to be outside. We put 2 layers on here, and actually there's 3 if you really want to look at it. There's this piece is the gutter piece. We put the product behind there. That gets put on. It gets screwed in. So there's your first layer, and it burps out in the top. When it does, we strike it down. Then we put another layer on top of here. That's your first layer. When this all cures, we go back and do yet a second layer. And if you've ever run a caulking gun, you hear it pop and crackle, well, you just injected an air bubble in there, and at any point it could probably pop as you're going down the road and it's twisting and flexing. So what are the chances of having one air pocket over another if you put a second layer? Probably slim to none. So that's why we do that. It's just a real prudent idea to make sure it's going to stay watertight. So we got these, is a solar. This is a satellite, and this is a solar. I keep saying solar. This is a satellite here. These are the wires come out, and then this is a special flashing detail that we made up, and it gets heat welded on there as well. We just zip tied them, keep them off the roof, let the water flow out, and then we made this custom boot. You can see it matches the footprint of that. So I made this up here. I just think it looks a lot better than just an average square looking curb. It just adds style to it, but it's just a professional way of doing it. And that, as well as you can see, it still has the counter flash on the top. Same thing. So, and we've got the same on the front air conditioner here. We've got the same supports in the back, and that just adds balance to it. And we've got the antenna over there, and we've got those bolts coming up through those boots. And those bolts, you can see them right there. So if you ever have an issue, you can just loosen those bolts up. If the antenna fails for whatever reason, you can just unscrew it. And then you undo the coax, undo that coax right there. Once you undo the coax, then you just get down, get a new one, pop it on, and you're in business. We've got our little gutters on the end right here. And then what we also did is we went around the lights down here, and we went around the top, the the slide out right here, top of this patio awning, just to make sure that if it looked a little compromised, we just put some in there. It's just something that we do to make sure. We don't want any leaks to happen. We'd hate to someone call us up and say, hey, I got a leak, and they come back and, yeah, it's your awning, it's this or that. Now, you still have to go around the rest of this coach. But at least if you see a leak down there, it's not coming from us. It's coming from somewhere else. So, let's see what we got on the other side. And once we get the roofs done, boy, they're making a mess over there. We're pulling one off over there. That's all delaminated. We'll have that video going too. That's a Sunseeker. So we put our name on here, RV Roof Install, and then you can see the November 18 right here. So when this coach keeps coming back, we can see how old it is. Or if he goes to sell this coach, I don't want anybody to talk him down and try to talk him down the price of a roof, because they are prone to leak. Everybody knows that. But you shouldn't have to pay twice. We do a transferable warranty. And someone comes up here and sees this, when was it put on? November 18. But also for us, we can keep track of it. We can see how the roof's performing. If it's not performing the way it should, then we can get with the manufacturer and we can get a rep down and say, why is it not performing that way? So you can see we also put caulking on these lights right here. All these lights, they're all done. We even went around the back here, put the boots in, and we put a sealer in here, and these are in real sturdy. And then something else we did on there is we put some grip tape on there and put some grip tape on the step as well. So that's see what we got going on down here. You see we got that big old skylight right there. That's all sealed. It's all been primed and sealed. The same with these. There's a way we install these big antennas. So you see how the wire is right in that boot, so we can't leak. Then you got that coax right there. You can take those bolts off if you needed to replace all that. And then again, we've got 2 layers on here. So this roof system, this is a commercial grade roof. It's the same roof system you're going to find on a hotel. You'll find it on an office building, a library, a restaurant. And it's a 60 mil structured membrane. It's GAF brand Everguard is what it is. It's a TPO, which means thermoplastic. Thermoplastic allows us to heat it up and weld it all together. That's called heat welding. So that's what that does. We can heat weld it all together. So we make all these components. All of these we make in our shop. We fabricate. As a matter of fact, we fabricated these rails too because his got torn off. So we fabricated those. So it's a 60 mil commercial grade membrane, and this comes with a 20-year warranty. So come back every year, we do the inspections, whatever adjustments it needs, we'll take care of it. It's as easy as that. Now the first time we put this down, I like to see this coach come back in about 30-45 days so I can take a look at it. Make sure everything's seated right, make sure everything's functioning the way it should. All coaches have their own little twist and their own little flex. So I want to see if it's doing what this man paid us to do. And if we need to make adjustments somewhere, we will. But we rebuilt this whole shoulder. That was all caved in. That looks real good. And other than that, it's about ready to roll. I'm going to see if I can find you a piece of that roofing to show you what structure it is. If I can find a piece, I'll show it. Let's see here. Give me a second. I don't have a piece. I'll go get a piece and I'll show you where the structured membrane is. But this is our Cyclone. If you have any questions, give us a call. 423-475-7663. 423-475-ROOF. You can see a lot up on our website, which is rvroofinstall.com, right here. And you can go to our YouTube channel, our Facebook page. So get this information to somebody else who may need it. If they know anybody who has an RV, at least we try to get as much information out there as possible because they are expensive to do. You don't want to do it twice. And when you compare the system that we do, and this is exactly the same way you do a commercial roof. You get on a commercial roof, you'll see all your vents. You'll see them all up on that's called a curb. You'll see them all up on a curb. You'll see your air conditioners up on a curb. You'd see your electrical and your gas lines all in a boot. You'll see all that. That's just protocol. That's the way you do a roof. That's how a flat roof functions. So all we did here was I modified all of these to fit properly and function properly for an RV. So, well, let me go find that piece of roofing and then I'll show you what that's like.